MLB season-long player props for 2024. I identified 4 players that I love and 1 player who I'm not so high on. Last year, I gave you 6 MLB season-long player props, and we parlayed them on Prize Picks, and Vladdy was the one player to come up short. I don't think I'm ever going to forget you, Vladdy. That was gut-wrenching, but we have to make it back this season. We still profited last year, but instead of parlaying them, I'm taking them all straight. Plus, I have a few long shots for you, and we're going to be playing them on BetMGM. And we have a promo going for you right now where you should take advantage. When you download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, use code JustBaseball when you deposit. When you do, put $5 on standard odds minus 110 on one bet, and you will see $150 loaded into your account. It's an absolute no-brainer on BetMGM. No parlays this year, just big unit sizes on straight bets. Let's win. And we are going to start with my favorite player prop of 2024, CJ Abrams over 37.5 stolen bases. On the Just Baseball show, we discussed how much better CJ Abrams looked in the second half. His contact quality improved, as did his on-base skills. I saw this tweet by Cespedes Family Barbecue, and a light bulb went off in my head. I wasn't totally sure how to back CJ Abrams in 24 until I saw this tweet. It wasn't the home runs part of it, it was the stolen bases. The article under it also talked about how he's unlocked some power in the second half and how much it was needed to move to the leadoff spot. While the power was certainly better, I'm looking at the stolen bases. On July 7th, 2023, the Nationals started a series against the Texas Rangers. CJ Abrams moved into the leadoff spot on that day, and his numbers got a lot better. From opening day until July 7th, Abrams slashed a pitiful 237, 285, 398 with an 83 WRC+. He barely walked and only stole 9 bases. Starting from July 7th, he played 73 games. He slashed 256, 316, 430 with a 99 WRC+. He walked 6.5% of the time and stole 36 bases, which led Major League Baseball in that period. Acuna put up a 419 on base percentage in that span, yet Abrams still stole 4 more bases. It's clear, if Abrams gets on base more, he is one of the best base stealers in Major League Baseball. The problem with stolen bases is you have to get on base first. It's obvious, right? But that's what holds these speedsters back. CJ Abrams stole 47 bags last year while putting up a 300 on base. He was the only player in Major League Baseball to steal 30 plus bags with an OBP below 314. Among players that stole 40 bases or more, only Bobby Witt Jr. was close in the OBP department at 319. Even if he doesn't improve from his 300 OBP season, I still like him to go over this. While he's still just 23, this isn't his sophomore slump year. He played 90 games in 22 and 151 in 23. He should be fully adjusted, and there is plenty of optimism that he can get himself over the 100 WRC plus mark and put up a 320 on base. Aram wrote about these changes back in September. Here's a mini excerpt from the article. Improving his ability to hold his back hip and control his body through his swing not only has allowed him to tap into more power, but also remain adjustable against secondary stuff. After posting an OPS that hovered in the mid-600s, which is terrible, against non-fastballs last season in 90 games, Abram has upped his production against secondary stuff to an OPS over 800 through the last 90 games, which is fantastic. He's getting better at seeing breaking balls. He stole 47 bags last year and was only caught 4 times. To put that in perspective, Ruiz and Acuna were caught 13 and 14 times, respectively. Bobby Witt Jr. was caught 15 times, and Nico Horner was caught 7 times. It's important because stolen bases are impactful if you steal them at a higher rate. 75% is a good number to base that off of. So if he stole 47 bags but was caught 12 to 15 times, there's a chance the Nationals would tell him to lay off running a little bit. They won't, because he is an elite base stealer. Over the entire season, Abrams finished 3rd in MLB in WSB. It's a stat on Fangraphs defined as stolen bases and caught stealing runs above average. From July 7th on, he put up a 5.8 WSB. Do you want to hear how crazy that is? 2nd place Corbin Carroll, 4.1. 3rd place Bryce Terang, 2.9. Look at this chart. They're not even close. Once he got into the leadoff spot, he was the best base stealing threat in MLB by far. And also, he weirdly sported a 279 batting average in balls in play last year, which is unheard of. for someone as fast as Abrams. And from July 7th on, the BABIP was even lower at 275. He still stole 36 bags in 73 games. That's just insanity. When I compile all the different Fangraphs projection systems, it doesn't show value on the over. The composite projection for him is 37. Typically, projections for stolen bases are lower, but this isn't a regular season. I expect teams to steal bases at a higher rate than last year due to the new rules implemented as teams gather more information. He's also on a team that's going to play his young core the entire season. The Nationals are in rebuild mode, and Abrams is arguably their brightest star. He's going to hit leadoff and play every single day that he's healthy. So how does this lose? Right? And I like to bring this into the equation because, well, of course it can lose. So I want to give you both sides, and you tell me if you like it or you don't. Let me know in the comments and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Health is a factor in any season-long prop when you wager on the over. It's something we understand can happen, of course, and it sucks. Playing shortstop doesn't really help that either. If he doesn't get better at all and just repeats last year's performance, he's nearing 50 bags. Hot take. I think he's still 75 plus this year. 75 plus. So guess what I did? CJ Abrams over 37.5 stolen bases for 2.2 units at -110 on MGM. And also to lead the league in stolen bases plus 1,200, just a half unit. I think he takes the league by storm this year. Fantasy baseball fans, make sure you get him on your team. And bettors, it's all about CJ Abrams. Let's get to player prop number 2, Michael Harris over 154.5 hits. Another 23-year-old I wanted to back in 24, but this time I knew which area to attack. Hits. I'm a big believer in second half adjustments and carrying those over into the next season, especially when these players have 2 years under their belts and are completely settled into big league life. Michael Harris and CJ Abrams, they both share those qualities. Michael Harris made some swing adjustments after an abysmal start to the season. He put up a 465 OPS in April and a 534 OPS in May. That's horrible. In June, his OPS skyrocketed to 1,005, which is unbelievable, and he never looked back. In the second half of the season, he slashed 325, 356, 522. He was tied with Julio Rodriguez with 89 hits in the second half, 4th best in Major League Baseball. It wasn't lucky. He made tangible swing changes to get him to this spot. His contact quality was excellent, and his 357 xWOBA compared to his 345 WOBA tells me there's a little bit more in the tank. It's not a perfect stat, but it's not on the bad side of it. His 293 batting average over the season doesn't even do him justice. His expected batting average was 304, putting him in the 98th percentile in the league. There's only 100th percentiles, aren't there? I love his batted ball profile. He lowered his ground ball rate last year by 8%. Hard hit rate jumped to 48%, a 3% increase from 22. The 48.5% clip puts him in the 86th percentile in the game, tied with Mookie Betts and Giancarlo Stanton. Money Mike hits the ball hard and is putting more of those balls in the air. That's a recipe for success. Harris has played 2 big league seasons and has never gone over this 154.5 number. He's been fantastic since he debuted, but the issue is games played. He didn't deal with anything in 22. He just got called up in May, so he only played 114 games. In 23, dealt with a lower back strain that kept him out. It was at the beginning of the season, another reason to discount his early struggles. Returns in May, plays 138 of 162 games, finishes with 148 hits, 7 shy of this number. For a hits prop, I want to target hitters who don't walk and don't strike out. I want the player to be a free swinger, but make consistent and loud contact. Michael Harris does all these things to a T. In 23, he was in the 4th percentile in walk rate, 6th percentile in chase rate. He's never walked since he came up, but he cut the strikeout rate from 24.3% to 18.7%. Bo Bichette has a similar profile. Last year, Bichette had 175 hits in 135 games with a 306 average, 312 XBA, 363 xWOBA, 19% K rate, 4.5% walk rate. Michael Harris hits the ball harder. Bichette puts it in the air more. I'm envisioning a 2021 Bo Bichette season for Michael Harris. Both are the same age, but Harris did have more experience under his belt when Bo Bichette was in the year 2021. Bichette had 191 hits in 21, finishing second to Trey Turner for the lead. Bichette did have a zone contact rate about 4% higher and hit the ball in the air more while having the same quality of contact numbers, right? So if Michael Harris displays similar qualities in the second half, he just needs to repeat this for a full season to have a real shot at leading the league in hits. So how does this lose? Of course, it can lose. I don't think it's going to, but it can. Let's talk about it. Health is a factor once again, especially playing in center field. Outside of catcher and pitcher, shortstop and center field are the two most grueling positions on your body. He's dealt with a back injury, so that's not something to take lightly. He also could just be a player that starts slow. When he came up, started slow, turned on the second half. Last year, started slow, turned on the second half. Hopefully this just isn't a theme for him, and he can't catch up as this season ends to his 154.5 total. But he's tearing the cover off the ball in spring training, and the swing looks exactly like it did in the second half of last year. Spring training, takeaways, whatever. But the swing is what I'm looking at, and I think he goes off this year. I placed 1.5 units on his over 154.5 hits, and 0.2 units, plus 5,000. Michael Harris to lead Major League Baseball in hits. Why not, right? That sounds great. I'm in. Are you in? Let's get to player prop number 3, which is Zach Gallen under 194.5 strikeouts. I have one rule when it comes to futures. Don't bet on overs when it comes to pitchers. Long shots, awards, totally fine. But we have specific player props. I'm going to target unders. It's really hard to make 30 starts every year in this game. And while Gallen has a good shot to do so, it still doesn't mean he exceeds 194.5 strikeouts. Here's the number: 243 and 2/3 innings, 210 in the regular season, 33 and 2/3 in the postseason, the most by any pitcher in 23. Nobody has thrown that many innings in a season since Verlander in 2019. Next, Kluber, 2016. Zach Wheeler was second in baseball in total innings last year, tallying 219. Zach Gallen had one of the heaviest workloads in the last decade, and it makes it even crazier when you consider the current state of baseball. Pitchers are throwing harder than ever, which means less innings are being thrown. Gallen was fantastic from a results standpoint in the regular season. He logged 210 innings at a 3.47 with 220 punch-outs. He wasn't quite as effective as he was in 2022 when he put up a 2.54, but the workload was heavier. When we look deeper into his 23 season, we see that why the ERA raised by a full run and why it could go even higher in 24. The velocity and the spin on his four-seamer dropped, which contributed to a higher quality of contact against. The four-seamer is the bread and butter pitch, throwing it nearly 50% of the time. If that pitch isn't dialed, he can get in trouble. After the most innings anyone has thrown since 2019, my guess is the fastball continues to decline in 24. He allowed a lot of hard contact last year, so much so that he fell in the 5th percentile of hard hit rate. That's terrible. 27th percentile in barrel rate. Heavy ground ball pitchers like Framber or Logan Webb can somewhat get away with this, but a 43% ground ball rate that he put up last year, that's average. If he continues to allow hard contact in the air, it's not going to end well. That's why his xERA was 4.16. That's basically the same area as guys like Mitch Keller, Brian Bayo, right? You don't consider them aces. Maybe Mitch Keller. Nah. I don't know. Pirates fans, let me know in the comments why Mitch Keller is an ace. Gallen also tapered off in the second half of last year. His FIP was a full run higher at 3.94 than it was in the first half, 2.74. His strikeout rate decreased. Walk rate increased. Home run per 9 nearly doubled. Opponent batting average against him rose 30 points. Fangraphs composite projections have Gallen at 186 strikeouts. I'm seeing a line that is nearly 10 strikeouts off. He's near the top of the strikeout leaderboards this year, even though he only has one season of going over this number. Back in 22, fantastic. Pitched to a 2.54 ERA in 184 innings. We already talked about that, right? He had 192 strikeouts this year, which would have cashed this under. A lot has to go right for Gallen to exceed this number, and I just don't think he gets there in 24. But how does this lose? Zach Gallen defies workload concerns and throws 200-plus innings once again. That would be the mark he would have to be near with his normal 25% strikeout rate. Only Garrett Cole, Sandy Alcantara, and Miles Michaelis have thrown back-to-back 200-plus innings since the start of the decade. If Zach Gallen joins that group, we'll tip our cap. But I'm going to put 1.5 units on his under 194.5 strikeouts at minus 115. No long shots for him. Just the strikeout bet. Let's get to player prop number 4. Now we're starting to get into the long shots. Now this, you might not like this one, or you might. Aaron Judge to lead Major League Baseball in home runs at plus 400. Sounds really easy, right? Let me tell you why. Last year, the line for Aaron Judge to lead MLB in home runs was plus 200. He was coming off a record-breaking 62 home run season, and the hype couldn't be higher. Similarly to Spencer Strider, who was plus 200 to lead the league in strikeouts. So why isn't Aaron Judge at the same odds again? Well, he got hurt, so people forgot he's far and away the best power hitter in the game. Since 21, Judge has 138 home runs, 11 more than second place Matt Olson. Aaron Judge has played in 69 less games in that span. Nice. Pete Alonso has played in 55 more games, but has 15 less home runs. Kyle Schwarber has played in 17 more games, but has 13 fewer home runs. Ohtani is a freak of nature, but even he doesn't compare in the power department, playing 39 more games, but producing 14 fewer home runs. To hit home runs, you have to hit the ball hard consistently and put the ball in the air. Seems easy enough, but Judge does it at a much higher level than any player. Last season, led in average exit velocity, hard hit rate, and barrels per plate appearance. He was far and away the leader in all of those with a 20.6 average launch angle. The optimal launch angle for a barrel is 18 to 35 degrees with an average exit velocity of 95 miles an hour or higher. Aaron Judge's average ball put in play last year was 97.6 miles an hour at a 20.6 degree launch angle. It's absurd. And it's even better than what he did in 22 when he hit 62 home runs. Aaron Judge hit 37 jacks in 106 games last year. If Judge kept this pace, 57 home runs, beating Matt Olson from the previous year by 3. Aaron Judge should have the same odds as Strider to lead the league in their respective categories. Judge has a longer track record than Strider, so you could argue that his odds should be even lower. But the difference? Strider led baseball in strikeouts last year. Aaron Judge got hurt. Now we jump back in. How does this lose? It can lose. According to manager Aaron Boone, Aaron Judge is banged up in spring training. It will be challenging to keep a 6'7" center fielder healthy for most of the year. The thing is, they are going to shelter this man. Do you know how important it is for Aaron Judge to be in the lineup for the Yankees? Did you see what this team looked like last year without him? Trent Grisham is going to play a lot of center. Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, he's going to play center, but they're going to baby him. And if he can play 140 games, I still think he can overtake a Matt Olson, a Shohei Ohtani, if they play all 160. That's how prolific of a power hitter Aaron Judge is. Plus 400, 1.5 units. Yep, worth the value. Now here's the mega long shot. Michael Harris was more of a long shot, but this is a good one. I think you're going to like it. Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros to lead Major League Baseball in RBIs. RBIs are as much of a team statistic as they are an individual statistic. It's not a player's fault if they rarely have runners in scoring position to drive in. It's also important for the leader to hit home runs, as the last 3 RBI leaders have all led in home runs. A 2019 Anthony Rendon year is what I'm looking for Tucker in 24. Anthony Rendon had 126 RBIs in 2019 with the Nationals, which led Major League Baseball. He hit 34 jacks while hitting 319, 412, 598. To lead the league in RBIs this way, you need a fantastic offense, hit for a high average while not striking out, and you got to stay healthy, and you probably got to hit between 30 to 35 home runs at a minimum. Well, let's go one by one. Certainly has a good offense in front of him. Here's the key. He's moving up to the 4 spot in the lineup. So who does he got in front of him? Jose Altuve. Jordan's moving up to the 2 hole. Then Alex Bregman. Then Kyle Tucker. He's going to have loads of opportunities. Kyle Tucker hit 284 last year with an XBA of 292 with a 13.6% strikeout rate. Talent can get him to 310 while maintaining a sub 15% strikeout rate. Remember, I'm saying talent like we're betting on a plus 2,500 line. I think he has the talent to get there. Projection systems would say no. I think he does. He's been a model of health over the last 3 years, right? If we're talking about health being a major part of betting on a season-long over. In 2020, he played 58 of 60 games. From 21 to 23, he's played at least 140, with 2 seasons being 150 plus. He's hit at least 29 home runs. Now we're getting the power department in the last 3 seasons. He's still hitting the ball hard, sitting in the 93rd percentile or better in xWOBA, xBA, xSlug. If he can return to the 34% ground ball rate he had in 21 and 22, I can see 35 bombs in his future. Kyle Tucker is in the perfect spot in the lineup with 3 heavy OBP guys in front of him. He's one of the best hitters in the league, and he has 229 RBIs over the last 2 seasons. He's fantastic with runners in scoring position. Last year, he slashed 354, 439, 599 with a 1,038 OPS in those scenarios last year. 4 of the 7 Fangraphs projection systems have him in the top 10 for next year, but I don't think they factored in where he's in the lineup. He finished 3rd in RBIs last year. And in 24, I think there's going to be a real shot that he ends up on top. It's well worth the unit at Kyle Tucker plus 2,500 to lead Major League Baseball in RBIs. But of course, how can this lose? Everything I just said could happen, and he still loses. Let's say Aaron Judge hits 60 bombs. Tucker ain't competing. Ohtani, as can Matt Olson, could drive in 140 with the Dodgers or the Braves. Kyle Schwarber, right, gets pushed back in the Phillies lineup. Let's say Jordan, they move him around and then they move Tucker out of the 4 spot. I don't know. But what I can tell from the beginning of the season, this has by far the best value. Those guys who I talked about, their odds are all way up there, right? But Tucker has the best odds of any long shot besides the ones I've already mentioned. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Be on the lookout for our next one is the awards video. But again, I appreciate everybody listening. Make sure to use that code on BetMGM to take advantage of that promo and hit that damn subscribe button. It's big. It's a red button. It's completely free. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.